Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being truly well-informed. Every day, it feels like headlines scream about AI, and yeah, for good reason, it's incredible stuff. But AI is just one thread, right? It's part of a much larger, maybe quieter transformation that's already reshaping our world.
Absolutely. And our mission here in this deep dive is really to cut through all that noise. We're digging into a whole stack of sources, but focusing heavily on the Future Today Institute's 2025 Tech Trends report. We want to pull out the really vital insights for you.
Yeah, help you grasp what's truly significant in all these fields that are just moving so fast.
Exactly. And there's this core concept we'll probably keep coming back to, something that the report calls living intelligence.
Living intelligence.
Okay, yeah, picture this. AI, advanced sensors, biotechnology. They're not just running on parallel tracks anymore. They're actually, converging, merging, creating these systems that can sense, learn, adapt, even evolve.
Wow, okay. That
Yeah.
sounds significant.
It really is.
Yeah.
And when you look at the bigger picture, the stakes are incredibly high. The report paints a pretty stark future, actually.
How so?
Well, it suggests this living intelligence will unlock just unprecedented opportunities for some organizations. Think drug discovery, energy, finance, you name it.
Yeah.
But for others, it could lead to, well, overwhelming disorientation.
Disorientation.
Yeah, the report warns the gap between the leaders and the laggards. It won't widen over decades. It could widen dramatically over months.
Months. Wow.
That's the urgency. That's why understanding these trends isn't just interesting, it's essential for you to navigate what's coming.
Okay, so with that idea of living intelligence as our foundation, let's dive into maybe its most visible front. Artificial intelligence. We all think ChatGPT, right? The text wizard. But how is AI evolving beyond just text? What are the really striking examples?
Right. That's the key shift. We're seeing AI really leap into what they call multimodal capabilities. OpenAI's GPT-4 is a perfect example.
GPT-4, okay.
Yeah, it integrates text, vision, and voice, all into one sort of seamless model. This allows for real-time conversations, solving complex tasks. It can analyze and generate insights from all those different inputs at once. It's getting closer to how we perceive the world,
So it doesn't just talk, it can see what you're pointing at or hearing. That feels like a fundamental change in how we'd interact with it.
It absolutely is. And look at Anthropic's Claude 3. It's really strong on sophisticated visual interpretation, especially for businesses.
How does that play out?
Well, think about it. Maybe half of all business knowledge is in images, right?
Yeah.
Charts, diagrams, photos. Claude 3 can make sense of all that. In healthcare, for instance, it's already being used to connect medical images with patient records, helping with diagnostics.
And that's where it hits home for you, listening. Imagine snapping a photo of, say, a skin rash and getting medically informed suggestions right away.
Or taking a picture of a recipe and having the AI adjust it perfectly for 6 people instead of 2.
It democratizes expertise in, amazing ways. But the insight here, the deeper thing, is it raises these huge questions, doesn't it?
Definitely.
What's a doctor's liability if that AI suggestion for the rash is wrong? How do we even build trust? Where does human judgment still hold the final say? It's a massive societal and ethical recalibration we're facing.
And this touches on a crucial point about AI's inner workings. The development isn't just about throwing more parameters at it anymore. Those internal variables that get tuned during training.
Right, not just bigger, but smarter.
Exactly. There are new approaches, like chain of thought models, cost-T models. They emphasize deeper reasoning, more like step-by-step thinking in real time.
Making them think more logically, perhaps.
Kind of, yeah. And here's a really surprising fact that shows this. DeepMind's Alpha Geometry, early 2024, it started solving complex geometry proofs.
Like high school math.
No, like at the level of international mathematical Olympiad gold medalists.
Whoa. Okay, that's astonishing. Machines thinking like math prodigies.
It really is. And another striking development, tying back to that living intelligence idea, is the rise of AI agents.
Agents. What does that mean exactly?
These are AIs that can operate independently across digital systems. It's a huge shift. We're moving from humans directing computers to, well, autonomous computation. They're not just tools following orders. They're making complex decisions on their own.
And they can be persuasive too, right? The report mentioned generating psychologically tailored messages. That sounds worrying for manipulation.
It's a major red flag, absolutely,
Right.
especially for public opinion, democracy. But it also raises a fascinating flip side. Can we persuade an AI agent?
Huh. Like talking into doing something.
Sort of. There was this intriguing experiment late last year called Freza.
Freza.
Yeah, experts in crypto and AI built this autonomous agent designed to protect a growing pot of cryptocurrency. The challenge was simple. Could humans convince Freza to willingly transfer the funds?
Wow, how did that turn out?
It was less about the outcome, more about exploring that complex interaction. Human versus AI persuasion in a high-stakes situation. Really interesting stuff.
So AI isn't just getting smarter analytically, it's getting creative. Let's talk about that. How is living intelligence changing the creative world? You mentioned Sora, OpenAI's text-to-video.
Spot on. Sora lets you generate video directly from a written description. It's mind-blowing. And in music, look at WaveTool's GPT-4 DAW.
DAW, Digital Audio Workstation.
Exactly. It lets creators literally speak their music into existence. You describe the vibe, the instruments, and it starts composing. Even free tools like Audacity have AI features now separating vocals, removing noise with just a click.
That sounds amazing for creators.
Yeah.
But you mentioned legal and ethical minefield.
Oh yeah, it's heating up. Major record labels sued AI music companies like Suno and Udio just recently, back in June 24,
Why?
alleging they used copyrighted songs without permission to train their AIs. Who owns the rights when an AI learns from existing music?
Right, and there was even a fraud case with fake AI songs.
Yeah, September 2024. AI-generated fake songs racking up royalty payments. It's getting messy.
And it's not just music. What about actors? I heard things about AI altering appearances, even bringing back deceased actors.
That's happening too. Furiosa reportedly used AI face swapping for Richard Carter's character. Alien.
Ruh.
Romulus apparently did something similar for Ian Holm. It raises huge ethical questions about consent, legacy.
Which is probably why we're seeing actors fight back, like Anil Kapoor winning that case to control his AI likeness.
Exactly. And California passed a law needing explicit consent for AI performances of deceased actors. Robert Downey Jr. even preemptively banned AI versions of himself after he's gone.
Smart move. It shows this growing need for control over our digital selves, our legacies.
There's another really crucial piece often missed in the AI excitement, the environmental cost.
The power consumption.
And water. Projections suggest global AI power demand could surge massively by 2030, like maybe adding the equivalent of 60% to over 300% of current U.S. power generation growth just for AI.
And huge, and the water.
Microsoft's numbers are pretty stark. Their water use for cooling data centers went from about 6.4 million cubic meters in 2022 up to 20.8 million in 2023.
Wow. So for you, the listener, this isn't just about cool tech. It's a critical challenge. How do we scale this sustainably? It's a reminder that virtual progress has very real physical footprints. Okay, moving on from the AI deep dive. Living intelligence is also changing how our digital world works, right? Things like Web3 and the metaverse. Web3 often just sounds like crypto speculation, but the report suggests something quieter, more fundamental is happening.
Exactly. For a long time, it was hype, but now AI is rapidly merging with blockchain systems. And not just experimentally, they're creating powerful automated tools for actual businesses.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, Chainlink worked with Swift and Euroclear in 2024. They're using AI to process and, crucially, standardize really complex financial info like mergers, dividends directly onto blockchain networks.
So taking messy real-world data and making it usable on the blockchain.
Precisely. Solving a huge business problem, turning scattered data into reliable, standardized information.
And is this catching on? Is it scalable?
Well, look at the Canton Network. Launched July 2024, it connects over 30 major financial institutions, Goldman Sachs, HSBC, names like that.
Okay.
And it's already processing, reportedly, $1.5 trillion in financial transactions monthly.
1.5 trillion. Okay, that's serious adoption. That's not hype.
Not at all. And this convergence also spotlights another key development, user-controlled digital identity.
Meaning I control my online ID, not some platform.
That's the idea. It fundamentally shifts how businesses verify who you are. Power and control move back to the individual.
And the benefit for me, for you listening, is what? Better security.
Yes, enhanced fraud prevention, better security. But also, think about accessibility. For people lacking official documents like refugees, UNHCR is using these systems in Africa to help provide identities. That's a powerful, real-world impact.
That really is. Okay, now, the metaverse. Still feels a bit sci-fi to many. How does the report frame it?
Less as a niche gaming thing, more as just an extension of our digital lives, seamlessly blending physical and virtual experiences. It's really about augmenting reality, not just replacing it.
So not just virtual worlds, but blending realities, like the industrial metaverse.
Exactly. That's gaining real traction, using digital twins, virtual copies of real factories or equipment in AR to improve design, monitor operations, train employees in safer virtual environments.
And beyond industry.
We're seeing metaverse events become actual economic drivers, optimized for commerce, sponsorships. Think Metaverse Fashion Week, or even conservation efforts like the Amazonian Reforestation Initiative using holographic guides.
Holographic guides for reforestation. Okay, that's cool. What about healthcare?
Oh, the medical metaverse is fascinating, reshaping patient care, surgical precision. Surgeons at UC San Diego using Apple Vision Pro during operations, for instance.
Wow. To see data overlaid or something?
Things like that, yeah. Or Mental Health Cleveland Clinic has Zen Quest on Roblox, guided relaxation in a virtual space, making therapy potentially more accessible, maybe less intimidating for some.
And education must be a huge area, too.
Totally transformed. AR and VR, personalizing learning, offering cultural experiences you couldn't get otherwise, like Bisakala using VR for indigenous art appreciation, immersive STEM learning.
Making abstract concepts tangible.
Exactly, and even training professionals. Early childhood educators at the University of Canterbury in New Zealand. They're using VR and haptic gloves to practice infant care scenarios.
Haptic gloves,
Yeah.
so they can feel it, too. Incredible.
It's a complete reimagining of learning. But this brings us to a pretty significant question the report raises.
Which is?
What if the metaverse becomes too integrated? They paint this picture, a scenario called the hollow world.
Hollow world. Sounds ominous.
It raises concerns, like real-world social skills potentially weakening, people curating perfect online personas but struggling offline, a potential surge in mental health issues. They even mention virtual reality dependence disorder, plus just sensory overload.
So the worry is, if VR gets so good, so integrated, it starts replacing actual real-world interaction. What does that do to us? To society?
That's the critical challenge we need to think about as this evolves, a really important navigation point.
Okay, so from digital systems adapting, let's shift to how living intelligence is literally reshaping life itself and sustainability through biotech and energy advancements. Biotech feels like it's exploded recently.
It really has. It's not just one sector anymore. Biotechnology is touching, well, pretty much every industry.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Okay, agriculture, climate-resilient crops. Manufacturing fashion brands using spider silk made from engineered yeast. Construction, self-healing concrete using bacteria.
Self-healing concrete. Seriously.
Seriously. Even beauty products containing AI-designed proteins grown in fermentation tanks. These aren't just lab experiments anymore. They're scaled commercial products out in the world.
That's wild. And in medicine, the frontiers seem just astounding. For you, the listener, what does this mean for healthcare?
It means a revolution is underway. Drug discovery AI helped quickly spot an old asthma drug, Zephyr-Lucas, as a potential dual-action COVID treatment. And tools like AlphaFold 3, they're predicting how proteins and potential drug molecules interact, speeding up discovery incredibly.
And diagnosis is getting super precise, too.
Mind-bogglingly so. There's an AI system called Eurobot that actually outperformed experienced urologists on specialist exams.
Better than human experts.
In that specific test, yes. And at the University of Cologne, AI is analyzing cancer tissue samples, predicting treatment responses with remarkable accuracy. Plus, things like RT found AI scanning retinal images to spot eye diseases, yes, but also systemic conditions like heart failure.
From an eye scan, wow, the diagnostic power is just leaping forward.
And the really big news, maybe one of the biggest milestones, gene editing. The FDA approved the first CRISPR-based gene therapy, January 2024.
For what conditions?
Sickle cell disease and beta thalassemia. It's monumental, potentially curative treatments using gene editing. Truly life-changing. And another really exciting area, tying back to this living intelligence theme, is cancer vaccines.
Personalized cancer vaccines.
Exactly. There was a clinical trial reported February 2025 showing remarkable success with personalized mRNA vaccines for pancreatic cancer. Autogene cevumeran, it's called.
How does it work?
It generated these T cells, immune cells, that were long-lived that could potentially survive for decades, continuing to fight the cancer. It could be a major turning point in immunotherapy.
Yeah.
Offers incredible hope.
Decades-long immune response. Incredible. And what about organs? Lab-grown organs always felt like pure sci-fi.
Getting closer. We've got bioprinted skin grafts actually entering clinical trials now. Yeah. And progress on lab-grown kidneys. Lungs, they're starting to overcome the big hurdle, which was always getting blood vessels to grow correctly, vascularization.
It really does feel like science fiction becoming reality.
Speaking of which, we're even seeing the dawn of something called biocomputing, or Organoid intelligence.
Organoid intelligence, using biological matter to compute.
Essentially, yes. Using biological materials like clusters of human brain cells grown in a lab for information processing. Researchers at Johns Hopkins actually got living brain cells to learn to recognize a specific voice from audio clips.
Brain cells learning to recognize a voice.
Yeah. For you listening, this is seen as potentially the next frontier of computing, leveraging the brain's natural, incredible efficiency for processing power.
Okay, mind officially blown.
Right.
But with all this power comes huge responsibility, right? The ethical side must be massive.
Absolutely critical. Public trust, evolving regulations, it's paramount. Europe, for example, already has a pretty comprehensive framework for bioengineered food safety, mandating detailed genetic mapping, environmental impact studies, before anything hits the market.
We need that oversight, especially when you think back to controversies, like that Chinese scientist He Jiankui.
Right, the gene-edited babies in 2018. That was a huge scandal. Led to prison time for him and much tighter regulations in China. It really highlighted the serious concerns about making genetic changes that could be passed down through generations.
And now we're seeing a lot of misinformation around this stuff too, right? Gene editing, vaccines.
Real surge, yeah. Distrust and misinformation spreading like wildfire on social media. It makes informed public discussion really challenging.
Okay, let's pivot slightly. Energy solutions. Climate change is pushing innovation hard here.
It really is. Net zero goals, stricter regulations, they're forcing rapid evolution. One big trend is the nuclear revival.
But the big old plants.
Less those, more small modular reactors, SMRs. They're seen as potentially safer, faster to build. Big tech is even investing. Amazon, Google, Oracle are looking into SMRs to power data centers.
Interesting. But are they proven? Are there challenges?
Oh, definitely. High costs, long permitting processes, and the scalability is still somewhat unproven. It's promising, but not a silver bullet yet.
What about renewables beyond the usual suspects?
Lots of innovation there. Airborne wind energy, AWE, basically high-altitude kites generating power, potentially cheaper, easier to deploy than massive turbines.
Kites generating power.
Yeah. And AI is optimizing traditional wind farms, too, using digital twins to figure out the absolute best placement for turbines, even using autonomous underwater robots to inspect and repair offshore turbines. It's getting much smarter.
And are there completely novel sources emerging?
There are, like hydroelectricity, generating electricity from moisture in the air.
Power from humidity. How?
Binghamton University developed this paper-based wearable device using bacterial spores. The spores expand and contract with humidity changes, generating a small charge.
Wow, okay. That's thinking outside the box. And carbon capture, is that scaling up?
It is. Direct air capture, DAC, technologies are getting serious. Climeworks has their mammoth facility in Iceland, pulling CO2 directly from the air. Spiritus is another company aiming for really low-cost CO2 sequestration.
So pulling all these threads together, biotech materials, smart energy, what kind of future scenario does that paint?
Well, the report throws out a really provocative one. The financialization of trash by 2031.
Making money from garbage.
Kind of. Imagine waste becoming a trillion-dollar asset class.
Yeah.
Driven by AI managing material circulation, urban mining, pulling resources from old electronics, smart biodegradable materials. It totally flips how we view what we throw away. It becomes a valuable resource stream.
From trash to treasure, literally. That's a fascinating twist on sustainability. Okay, from trash as treasure, let's look at how living intelligence is changing our physical world more broadly. How we move, how robots work, how we build things. Let's start with mobility, electrifying everything.
Pretty much. The global investment in EVs is just massive, projected over $800 billion by 2030. And it's not just cars. Commercial fleets, shipping, even aviation are going electric.
Right. But it's more than just the vehicle, isn't it? There's this idea of bidirectional charging.
Yes, this is a huge game changer for you, the listener. Bidirectional charging turns your EV into like a mobile battery. Vehicle to home, V2H, means your car could power your house during an outage. Vehicle to grid, V2G, means you could even sell power back to the grid during peak demand times.
My car becomes part of the energy grid.
Exactly. GM's making V2H standard in its 2024 models. VW's ID models can already do it in Europe. Plus, the charging infrastructure is booming big investments in New York. Mandates for chargers and new buildings in places like Tokyo starting 2025. It's making EVs part of a smarter, more resilient energy system.
Okay, beyond cars, robots. They're moving beyond just factory assembly lines, right?
Far beyond. AI is boosting their autonomy significantly. They can be trained much faster in virtual worlds now than deployed to make complex decisions in the real world.
And we're seeing them more in daily life.
Definitely. Autonomous delivery robots, those little Starship Technologies bots, they're making over 100,000 road crossings daily worldwide now. We're also seeing autonomous ships, like Norway's Europe Birkeland cargo vessel, and unfortunately also autonomous drones used in conflicts, like by Ukraine. The impact on logistics, defense, it's immense.
What about new types of robots? Anything particularly innovative?
Yeah, two areas stand out. One is soft robotics.
Soft robotics, like squishy robots.
Kind of, they use flexible materials instead of rigid parts. Allows them to grip delicate or oddly shaped objects with almost human-like dexterity.
Yeah.
Big potential for warehouse automation, maybe even surgery.
Cool. And the other?
Bio-inspired robotics.
Yeah.
Engineers basically copying nature's homework.
Ah, like robots that mimic animals.
Exactly. Eve Zurich has Magneco climbs walls like a gecko using magnets. Gecko Robotics uses similar principles for robots that inspect ship hulls for the U.S. Navy. Nature's had millions of years to perfect designs, right?
Makes sense to borrow ideas. So putting this all together, EVs, smarter robots, new materials, what does it mean for how we actually build our environment, our homes, cities?
The report describes a fundamental shift in the whole built environment industry, designing, constructing, managing spaces using these new technologies. For you at home, think smart home automation taking a leap.
Beyond just turning lights on with my voice.
Way beyond. Adaptive systems that truly optimize energy use, safety, comfort based on your patterns, sensor data. Imagine AR glasses that proactively flag a potential trip hazard in your home, or AI algorithms processing sensor data to automatically adjust heating, lighting, air quality like LG's ThinQ platform aims to do. Your home becomes genuinely intelligent, responsive.
And how we build structures is changing too. You mentioned 3D printing.
Additive construction, yeah. 3D and even 4D printing, where materials change over time. It's scaling up massively. We can now print large, complex structures, multi-story buildings, even using low-carbon concrete mixtures. Icon's Phoenix printer is a great example. Faster, potentially more sustainable construction.
So give me a glimpse of this integrated future. The report had a scenario.
Yeah, the Forever Park scenario, set in 2032. Imagine a public park built with these additively manufactured materials that can actually self-heal minor cracks.
Self-healing part.
Yeah. Protected by a smart gel that's fire retardant. Monitored by drones that respond automatically to emergencies or disasters. It just paints this vivid picture of how living intelligence makes our physical spaces more resilient, more adaptive, almost alive themselves.
Forever Park. That's quite a vision. Okay, finally, let's bring it all together and look at the information and financial ecosystem. This feels like where living intelligence hits all of us directly every day. First, finance.
AI is really digging deep into finance and insurance. AI-assisted data modeling is transforming how companies manage risk, detect fraud, make lending decisions. Big players like Visa, Lemonade Insurance, they're heavily leveraging AI.
Improving efficiency, catching fraud. Sounds good. But is there a downside for us? For you listening?
There's a serious threat. The FBI is warning that fraudsters are using AI to create incredibly convincing scams, phishing emails, fake websites, even synthetic identities, completely fabricated profiles used to open accounts or take out loans.
So AI is making scams better. Great.
It's an arms race. The good news is institutions are fighting back. About 70% are expected to use AI for security by 2025. It's basically becoming fighting AI with AI.
Makes sense. What about other shifts like open banking?
Yeah, open banking and decentralized finance, DeFi, they hold this promise of more personalized services, faster lending, because data can be shared more securely and easily via APIs, with your permission, of course. Gives you more control, potentially better deals, but adoption is still bumping up against old legacy banking systems. It's a transition.
Okay, shifting from finance to the broader information ecosystem, this feels like it's under huge strain. Trust seems to be eroding.
That's perhaps the single biggest risk highlighted. Deep fakes, AI-generated articles, fake social media accounts. It's all eroding public trust and making it harder to know what's real, a fundamental threat to inform citizens' democratic processes.
So what's being done? Is there a counterattack?
There is. Efforts are underway in content verification. Adobe's Content Authenticity Initiative is one example, promoting metadata tags like digital watermarks that show a file's origin and edit history. It uses the C2PA standard.
C2PA.
Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity. It's like a digital fingerprint for content, making it harder to pass off fakes as real. Plus, real-time detection systems for things like face manipulation are getting better.
Okay, that's helpful, but the report mentions a deeper problem, digital frailty.
Yeah, this is really sobering. It's about how fragile our vast online information systems actually are, susceptible to corruption, loss, distortion, even just link rot.
Link rot, like websites disappearing.
Exactly. Pew Research found that a shocking 38% of web pages from 2013 were just gone 10 years later, vanished, including government records, news articles, important historical data. Our digital memory is surprisingly fragile.
Wow. 38%, that's a huge chunk of recent history just erased. So what can you, the listener, do about all this erosion of trust, this digital frailty?
Well, one key thing is boosting news literacy education, understanding how information is created, filtered, spread online. Interestingly, AI might even help here.
AI helping with news literacy. How?
Researchers at MIT and Cornell developed AI chatbots designed specifically to engage with people about conspiracy theories, encouraging them to question the claims. And they actually found it reduced belief in those theories by about 20%.
Using AI to gently nudge people towards critical thinking. That's fascinating.
It is a potential positive use case in this messy landscape. But the report also paints a potentially grim future scenario here, called the synthetic tsunami.
Synthetic tsunami sounds bad.
Picture the internet just flooded, overwhelmed with low-quality, cheap, AI-generated articles, videos, images, content farms churning out endless mediocrity.
Making it impossible to find the good stuff.
Exactly. The signal-to-noise ratio becomes unbearable, and the report suggests this might lead consumers to just tune out, spend less time browsing the web because it's full of junk.
So where would people turn for information?
Here's the twist. The report suggests this could actually lead to a resurgence of broadcast media, technologies like ATSC 3.0.
That's the next-gen standard for over-the-air TV, right?
Yeah, it allows for internet-like features, better signal, data capabilities. The idea is, if the open web becomes too polluted, maybe broadcast, with its inherent gatekeeping and clearer source identity, becomes a more trusted, reliable source again. A fascinating potential pivot back.
Wow, a return to broadcast TV as a haven. That's quite a thought. We covered so much ground today. It all seems to circle back to this core idea you mentioned at the start, living intelligence.
Yeah, that convergence of AI, sensors, biotech. It's clear it's not just changing specific technologies, it's fundamentally reshaping whole industries, our daily routines, maybe even how we understand ourselves.
And it's definitely a double-edged sword, isn't it? We've
Yeah.
talked about incredible opportunities, personalized medicine, greener energy.
But also really significant challenges, complex ethical dilemmas in gene editing, AI likenesses, the huge environmental footprint of AI, the fragility of our digital world.
So for you listening, what's the key takeaway? What should you be thinking about?
I think the main message is that the future isn't something that just happens to us. It's not a passive destination. It's an active journey we're all participating in shaping.
So staying informed, thinking critically, being ready to adapt, those skills are more crucial than ever.
Absolutely. Foresight, critical thinking, adaptability. They're the essential toolkit now.
Okay, final thought then. As we continue building these systems with living intelligence systems that sense, learn, adapt, maybe even evolve on their own,
It really forces us to ask some deep questions, doesn't it? What fundamental shifts will this demand from us? How will it change how we define what it means to be human, how we think about privacy, about societal well-being in the decades ahead?
a huge question. Definitely something to ponder long after this deep dive ends.